everyone, what's up? It's Allie here and welcome back to Fab Little Dish. Welcome if this is your first time joining us. If you are seeking some home decor inspiration as we transition from spring to summer, or if you're really just looking for everyday decorating ideas, you are going to love this one. It is such a fun kitchen decorating video. We are going to be cleaning and hanging up some copper. Obviously, we're going to be hanging up some Fab Little Dishes because we are Fab Little Dish. We are going to be styling the tops of some of my cabinets. There's going to be a whole bunch of kitchen wall art ideas, styling really cute vignettes, and of course, decorating my vintage Lenox Spice Village collection and the newbies that have joined us behind me on the shelf. I love when I have an excuse to decorate my kitchen. I know all of you love it when I decorate my kitchen as well. But before I go ahead and get started, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help the channel get in front of new faces. And please make sure to hit subscribe if you already haven't. I have so many fun decorating vintage decor hauls. Make sure to check out fablittledish.shop, by the way. If you love any of the pieces that I'm decorating with, there are a bunch on the shop. There's just so much fun coziness that goes on this channel, and I don't want you missing out on a thing. But without further ado, my friends, go ahead and get a cup of tea, come along with me, and let's decorate my French Country Cottage kitchen together. Here's a little peek at something new I've been starting to incorporate into my decorating process, a design mood board to help visualize the overall look before I bring it to life. I found that pulling everything together visually like this really helps set the tone for the space, and it's something I'm starting to use more and more behind the scenes. For this French Country Cottage kitchen, I'm working with a palette of soft pastels and vintage copper. I love how that mix brings in both the warmth of French country style and the cozy charm of an English cottage. And it'll really let my Lenox Spice Village collection shine as the centerpiece. I'll be layering in vintage copper, floral prints, delicate textures, and those collected little details that make a space feel personal and lived in. We're starting off by clearing out some of my Easter and spring decor so we can freshen up this adorable little cozy kitchen as we transition into summer. I did tell you I'm going to be shuffling around some things today. I'm moving this wood shelf over near the window so I can make my china hutch the focal point of the kitchen, which happens to house my vintage Lenox Spice Village collection. And let's get right into styling this china display cabinet, and specifically this special top shelf. I always like to add a little flair to my Lenox Spice Village collection depending on whatever season it is, and a delicate floral garland seemed perfect for the space right now. I don't like to do too much here since these pieces speak for themselves, and I want to allow them to have their chance to shine on their own. I always store my vintage teacups on the second shelf, and for the bottom shelf, I'm adding some of my favorite teapots and some other fun pieces. I got this really cute cart table from my fiance's father's house. Aside from the chandelier that was in my witchy cottage bedroom decorating video, which is linked below, please make sure to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. This is the only other piece that we got, and I knew that it would look great in the kitchen. I moved the dresser into a closet. That was originally there to extend the look of the countertops, but I noticed when I cleared the countertops, we really didn't need the dresser to give off that effect. This new setup allows for more storage and functionality, which is essential for small spaces. I'm starting off by layering some vintage tablecloths I purchased from a brocante in Paris. This will give a layered and cozy look to the cart right off the bat. Before we start decorating this cute vintage cart, we need to polish some copper pieces. I'm not gonna lie, this was not a very fun task and it took a lot of elbow grease, but it was so worth it in the end when you see how shiny everything is. I purchased a lot of these pieces from an estate sale and I showed them all off in my previous video, my vintage home decor haul. That's also linked below. Make sure to check it out if you haven't seen it yet, and head over to fablittledish.shop because I have added a lot of these copper pieces to the shop. Some of them are from my grandmother though, and those I just cannot list, which I'm sure you understand. The cleaner that I'm using is called White Diamond Metal Polish, and it worked pretty well. I think I might opt for a different kind next time, so if you have a favorite copper cleaner that works really well, please let me know in the comments below so I can give it a shot. I highly recommend using gloves and also wearing a mask since the chemicals in here are pretty overpowering. Also make sure that you're layering with paper, newspaper, anything to protect whatever surface you are doing this on because it can get messy. I was putting the solution on the rag and then rubbing it on the pieces, but I was noticing that pouring a tiny amount on the copper itself and then rubbing like crazy with the rag was actually really giving off the effect that I was looking for. So I just continued to do this, and I was chatting with my grandmother on the side, and it was actually a pretty nice afternoon, but this will give you an arm workout, I guarantee it. Now that we're ready to display some of these gorgeous copper pieces, I'm going to set the stage by adding some vintage cookbooks from various estate sales that I've been hitting this season. Again, if you want to see me showing these off in detail and all of my recent finds, check out that last vintage home decor haul linked below. But I really like the way that these cookbooks add dimension to the shelves. They also complement the color of the copper pieces really well. I wanted to add some baskets too, just to kind of create that symmetry on each shelf. And again, the baskets mixed with the copper just really gives that French country mixed with the English cottage style that I am looking to achieve here. Now, I was really excited when I found this stained glass piece from Amazon. I know you're all gonna ask me where it's from, so I've made sure to also link that below in the description. I think it absolutely gives off the touch of Art Deco that I was looking to add here, and stained glass just looks classic in any kitchen, don't you think? I wanted to kind of give off this window effect, and I really just think that it makes the entire kitchen wall pop. And it does a great job of breaking up where I have the plates cascading on the wall right there. This little white shelf is such a favorite of mine to decorate in style. I purchased this about a year ago, and it always helps lend a hand to the cottage style I embody throughout my kitchen on the rag. I'm leaving this pastel beaded garland up because I think it complements the colors of my Lenox Spice Village collection, and I just love the way it looks alongside this Pioneer Woman Home Sweet Home tea towel. I also wanted to leave the striped linen towels here because they are just so classic French country style to me, and I need to add those elements wherever I can to achieve the look I'm going for. And as we transition from spring to summer, I think having some bolder colors here will look great. So I'm using these lovely vintage blue floral saucers that are from England. Perfect for the touch of English cottage style I'm bringing together with that classic French country look throughout the kitchen. And I thought putting this Shabby Chic towel through the handle of this little dresser was such a cute and easy touch to make this little corner look even more cozy and lived in. My aunt and uncle had tons of rosemary growing in their garden, so I picked some to hang up in here. Dried florals are so great in the kitchen because they allow for a way to bring the outdoors inside, and they just make everything feel and smell fresh. I'm drying these out by bundling them in small little clusters and tying them at each end with a rubber band. Then I'll be hanging them up upside down and let them dry, as they also act as hanging decor. French Country Style is all about bringing the beauty of the countryside indoors, and nothing captures the spirit of Provence quite like lavender. So I've tucked a few little lavender arrangements throughout the space to add that fresh, rustic charm. I'm actually thinking about planning my next trip to France to the actual French countryside of Provence so I can see the rolling lavender hills in real life, and of course, make my stops throughout Paris. But let me know what you all think of that plan in the comments below. I'm definitely gonna do a better job about trying to incorporate your feedback and ideas into any of my travel plans, because my decorating and design style is heavily influenced by my travels. And you know how much I love taking you all with me on every adventure that I go on, especially if it involves design. Now we're going to be hanging up some wall art in a few spots to really refresh the look of the kitchen. And of course, that includes updating some of my vintage plates. And with the Victorian Lenox houses, I felt these plates were a perfect addition to include in the kitchen's new theme. I am leaving my pastel Shabby Chic plates that I already had up here, and I am loving the way that everything is coming together so far. So these were a recent estate sale find, and they're gorgeous. This is the big one. I'm so excited. It's almost like sometimes the universe knows what you are decorating for, and they bring you these treasures. Here's the middle-sized one. It's so pretty, and I love the patina look on it. And then here's a little one. Look how cute the little handle is. So we're gonna hang these up above my little stove here. But I am so excited. Now I purchased this vintage spice cabinet from an antique store in Arizona. I was wondering why nobody was showing any interest in it once I listed it on the shop, because I thought it was really cute, but then I realized why. The previous owner must have painted the stained glass with a black paint, and that made it nearly impossible to see the etching on the glass. I let Windex soak on the glass for a couple of hours, and then I scraped it off with a plastic, almost like scraping tool. I think you can use like an old gift card. I didn't want to use anything metal because I was scared to scratch the glass. And then I added this adorable sticky shelf liner that I had left over from another project, and I think it really gives a shabby chic cottage look to the piece. And to top it off, I painted this wood cutout piece that I had purchased from Amazon. It was from another leftover project. I painted it a pastel pink, and then I hot glued it right in the center. And voila! We really turned this vintage piece from drab to fab. It has a totally new life now, and I am loving it. I'm adding some remote battery lights inside on the shelves so this cabinet can shine at nighttime, and I've also been looking for an excuse to decorate with these little Victorian shoes, so why not add those as well? Here are the lovely Lenox Village Trivets. I absolutely adore the colors these bring into the kitchen and specifically to the walls. I wanted to surround the spice box that we just revamped with these Lenox Village Trivets so that your eyes were immediately drawn to this part of the kitchen when you walk in. This little area really gets me excited to style. I have been trying to slowly acquire a few of my favorite canisters from the vintage Lenox Village collection, and these are my first 4. I might only get 1 or 2 more after these because they're really hard to come by. They're pretty pricey. You don't happen to stumble across them at thrift stores like you used to, and I don't want to get all of them because I think it might be a little overwhelming. I used to display the salt and pepper shakers in the cabinet with the rest of the Village collection, but I'm gonna put it front and center here because I just think it's a really fun piece from the collection. My favorite has to be this sweets canister though. It has the cutest colors and it's just totally my vibe. I'm also rehanging the copper utensils that we had polished earlier. They look so pretty, sparkly next to the rosemary and the Lenox Village canisters. Oh my goodness. The kitchen wall art updates continue. I've had these valances pinned up here on the wall now for quite some time, so it's time to let them come down. Instead, I'm adding some of the freshly polished vintage copper pieces. I'm trying to add copper as much as I can, wherever I can, because to me, there's nothing that complements French country style like copper. This was a last-minute added touch that I thought would really complement the Victorian look of the Lenox Village collection. These wooden spindle corbels are perfect for bringing this little section all together. I purchased these on Amazon, painted them white, and now I'm adding this double-sided mounting tape to secure the corbels on the shelf. I don't know about you, but I am both a coffee and a tea drinker, so I like to have everything ready for both, for whatever mood may strike me. It's that time, my friends. Please get yourselves that cup of tea because it's the moment we've all worked so hard for. I'm not kidding when I say this, but this is truly the best my kitchen has ever looked. So everyone, it is my greatest joy to bring you my French Country Cottage Kitchen reveal. you all think? Please let me know in the comments below. I want to know what your favorite part of our decorating journey in the kitchen today was. If there was a special piece that stood out to you, or a design, or if you're gonna bring just any tips back with you into your own homes, please let me know. I love reading about that and hearing what each and every one of you has to say. Again, a huge thank you and shout out to my subscribers. This was just such a fun one from the bottom of my heart to you all. So please make sure to hit subscribe if you're already not part of this fab little family. I have lots of home decor inspiration each and every week, whether it is vintage home decor hauls, touring historic homes, seeking design inspiration through travels. There's just so much coziness to be gained here, and I'm so excited that you found us, if this is your first time finding us. But until next time, my friends, you all stay lovely as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Au revoir.